Welcome to Black Coffee Conversations, where we are brewing up authentic conversations all about relationships, love, self care, all of that, and so much more, one episode at a time. I am Tanya.
And I'm Tiffany.
Yes, and welcome. And today we have two guests.
Yes.
Yes, we have Omar,
So,
Omar Bogan, which is actually Speak Like Omar. He is also the co-host of the Kim and O Show on the Mighty 147 WVOL. So welcome back.
thank you.
And who else do we have, Tiffany?
We have Mr. Colin Sadler. Colin and I have been besties for a long time. He's a very wise man in a holistic way. So many things I learned from him: metaphysics, physical training, health, nutrition. I mean, he really takes care of the total energetic being.
I'm just your trainer.
I mean, he is my trainer, but he's so much more in life. So much more in life. And I'm so happy you're here today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
So I just thought these would be two great minds
Yes.
to bring to this space, to
I do
this
what I can.
table.
That's right.
Because today we want to dive deep into the mind of a man.
That's
you know,
right. And we're gonna zip it up.
we're
little
just gonna fall back.
Yes.
We might have some questions.
Yes.
But we're here to learn. We're
Yes.
here to contain what is being offered today. And I know it's going to be juicy and
Yes.
good.
And
Like
ladies.
I know
Maybe
we're
like
in
juicy.
it.
Uh-oh,
Yes.
they're coming for our head.
Yeah, I see right now they love the juice.
I'm
excited.
Yeah.
I'm
Trap on the
excited.
wall.
I'm excited to learn. And sometimes I think we don't do enough listening. And we need to, even posts that I see sometimes on social media where they're asking the men to respond, and
Right.
you will constantly see women chiming in,
Right.
and I'm like, you're not a man. So we
Yes.
really want to
Wow.
have that moment. Yes,
Okay.
you're not a man. So
You
we're
did not understand the assignment.
exactly, not at all. So let's dive right into it.
What you got?
I don't know. I want to know about maybe some of the non-negotiables and deal breakers, because both of you all are single,
Yes.
correct? Not
Yeah,
married.
yeah.
Okay, so you're out there, I'm sure, maybe kind of dating. Are you in the dating?
Yeah,
The opportunity presents itself.
Okay.
Right. I'm a big fan of organically
Yeah.
experiencing a female as far as, going out on a date or something like that. But I'm not actively, like the social media or Bumble
Yeah.
and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Dating
I
apps.
don't do those.
Yeah.
I mean, neither. No dating.
No,
apps.
it's
No
not
dating.
your style.
No.
Nothing
I mean,
against
it's,
them.
I need conversation. So, like, if I meet you somewhere and we have a good conversation, then I may think about, hey.
You need it organically
Yeah,
to happen.
definitely. I need to be fresh.
Well, for me, as a man that attempts to be masculine, I need infiltration. Like my assignment as a man is to infiltrate. Her assignment as a woman is to not allow me to infiltrate, and that way, you're truly as a woman, you're responsible for sex, and men are responsible for relationships. So, if you're going to allow me to infiltrate, your filter is more important than mine because as a man, I'm the planter. I'm Johnny Appleseed, so I'm trying to do my thing to get sex. So for me to come out of that mode and to notice a woman, as far as what you were saying with your initial question, for me to come in and be like, oh wait a minute, you're more than that. I'm gonna have to be fed on the socio-sexual side. Like, well, how intelligent are you? What's your mom like? What's your dad? But other than that, I'm just trying to infiltrate.
What is a sapiosexual for those that don't know?
Okay, so sexually attracted to a woman that's intelligent, and which is funny. As y'all can see, Tiffany is beautiful. But our dynamic isn't sexual at all. I can hold this woman's hand. We've walked out in the woods. We've walked around downtown before. It's been a while. It's been years.
Yeah.
But we would hold hands. Like, I take the role, but just the masculine role, not the sexually masculine role. And we have been in that mode for over a decade. Well over a decade.
14 years.
14
Oh,
years.
wow.
And I still, if we go on a date, You know, like if we go see a movie or something, I'm gonna pay, but I would pay for my sister. You know what I mean? So it sounds like I'm lying when I say I need that. But here's what I would need. I would need Tiffany, but not Tiffany. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Tiffany is my what's the term? My soulmate, and I feel like that term is reserved for people that are sexually active. But I have a male friend. He's my soulmate as well. He's my brother, Scott Mosley, the guy I did the podcast with. So I feel like soulmate is more for families. And if you look at it, the sexual aspect of things, without going into Sigmund Freud and all the adipose syndrome stuff, your wife is literally taking the place of your mother. You know, the husband's taking the place of the father. So that's family too. So soulmate we need to expand that, I think.
Okay.
Have you ever had a soulmate?
Yeah.
Have I ever had a soulmate? Wow. I think for me, I would say soulmate would have to be. I mean, I like his thought process on it, but then again, you do come across those people where you just bond, like you just, and you're actually dating those people. Like when you meet, you just connect. It's a connection that lasts a lifetime. So I wouldn't say just family. I mean, because you could meet somebody, say for in your youth, and you meet somebody and you connect, and it's just a lifelong. You dated, had a serious relationship, whatever, but you stayed in tune with one another for years. So yeah, I could see that. Dating today for me is a bit different. I mean, I don't really go in for. I'm not looking for the kill. I need to know where you are mentally. Automatically off the back. That's the reason why I engage with conversation a lot first.
Are you
I'll definitely say it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely. For me to understand your mind, I want to dig just a tad bit in your past. You know, just in mid conversation, just initial. Hey, where you from? Just initial. Because if you ask the correct questions, not just questions, and a lot of guys just ask questions, but if you ask the correct questions, you can kind of gauge whether that woman is somebody you'd be friends with or someone that's dateable, or if they're even evolved enough to date at that time, or if they're healed enough to be able to date at that time.
Omar, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So, and this is just, I'm curious about what your approach would be. Do you feel like every woman's worthy of that depth? And would you just reserve all of that you just said and just get sex?
Every woman's not worth that depth.
Okay,
Every
but are they also still like, yeah, I'm just gonna smash?
I think it depends on the evolution of the man. And I mean, for me, it's not just smash because I know I can smash. I know and here's the thing, because it's an abundance of opportunities to smash. At this point, I'm 51, I'm looking for wife.
Okay.
So because I'm looking for wife, I'm looking for companion, I'm looking for that person where we can last a long haul. Because after 51, if you're in tune, like you're in tune with yourself. Most men that are in tune with themselves understand what they can do in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what we can do in the bedroom. It's not a big deal. My thing is, where are we gonna go from there?
I get that. I get that. But, and I'm not trying to be antagonistic, man. I'm just like, if you and I were, I don't drink, but we were out and we were kicking it. And I just say, hey man, let's go out and be on the prowl tonight. You know what I mean? Like, what would equate? I'm not going to just talk to what I want to talk to because I'm a sapiosexual, but I'm willing to have an encounter where it's just sexual. That never happens.
For my young years. Now, no.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
Back in the day, and that's what I'm saying, because I think after my divorce in 2011, my evolution changed. Because I said for the next person that I decide to be married to, I want to be the best me. And I think the more I begin to understand me and my flaws and my shortcomings, and I had to work on those, I got to remember walking into something with somebody, whether I smash that night or not, I don't know what I'm bringing back with me. Because we, as men, like you said, we have to dig to try to get the panties. But in the process of trying to get to it, like you said, their job is to block and to detour.
Exactly.
So how far down the rabbit hole do I have to play with you? But I got to remember, as I'm trying to get you, I'm giving away bits of me to get to you. So I got to figure out what I'm bringing back with me, because even though I'm giving you parts of me, those parts that I'm giving to you, those are vulnerable parts. Because in order for you to really get to a woman, you have to get to the most vulnerable part of her.
Yeah.
I have a question about that. So you.
I mean, if you say different, I mean, if you think different, I'd love to hear it.
I do. Again, a distinction between, like, if you're going to talk to Tanya or Tiffany, then everything that you just said applies. But if you're talking to a modern woman that's just attractive, then you're not going to have to spend a whole lot of bandwidth to attract or build sexual tension up to. I'm not going to give anything away. Now, if I went into a situation, and again, these are my opinions, if I went into a situation with like a Tanya or a Tiffany, and now I'm, hey, this, and you felt like you could, explore and do all the things, and then it didn't work out. Now, I've lost something now. You know what I mean? That's not anything that I'm going to have to do if I'm just,
Yeah, because you're talking about the caliber of woman now. At that point.
Exactly.
At that point. I see
Exactly.
what you're saying.
Well, that's what I was saying initially was, is everybody worth it? And
No. Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody's not worth it. But then you got to understand, what is your intention? What is your aim?
For sure.
And so
for sure.
for me, my aim isn't just to smash.
So
Not at this point in life.
I'm going to say this to you that I didn't think I was going to get to say, because I know we want to be transparent. I know we want to be vulnerable. I respect the hell out of you for that, because that's not something that most men would admit, and I admit it. I may never be that way, but if I were going to be in a relationship, like a true relationship, that would be my effort. My effort would be to what you claim you are now. So kudos to you, man.
Appreciate it.
So you're saying that you don't even, when we're talking about smashing, you don't even really go there because you're after something
That's not my
different.
That's not my first target.
But you're saying, or what I'm hearing you say, is that you feel that most men
Absolutely.
can still kind of compartmentalize that, and either I'm going to get serious and put effort into getting to know someone, or men still just have that mentality of going to smash, right?
For sure. Sex is
that what you?
Which is why I'm so, because he's displaying a discipline, because men need sex, need it. We produce 150 million. Healthy man is going to produce 150 million sperm a day to a woman's one ovulation every 28 days, the moon cycle, if you want to be technical. So 13 cycles a year where a woman needs sex, and then you can compound that with during ovulation, right before and right after, so there might be some days in there. So you're talking 13 times 3 or 4 opposed to 150 million sperm 365 days. So the need is quite different. The difference between what a man is needing and what a woman's needing as far as sex is astronomically different, and not even apples and oranges. It'd be a rock and a rabbit. It's like totally different, inanimate to something that's real. So the discipline that you would have to display to be like what he's attempting or what he may actually be. I'm not saying I'm skeptical. It's just an anomaly. If you are that guy, I'm impressed. Yeah.
I'm in shock, because I still think, don't you think that there are men out there that are able to also abstain? Because not only should women be careful about who we open ourselves up to, men should be careful in who they give
Now,
to.
There's another caveat to that too, because it's not just men going out to get. You got also some men have reserve.
Well, I would think.
When I say reserve, you have people that you're comfortable with,
right,
that you spend time with,
okay,
and that you are intimate with on a regular basis.
Right.
So there's a difference between chasing and having reserve. I hear what he's saying.
Okay.
And you do have those men that, like myself, where you actually looking for relationship, but you do have there's 3 stages of it. You have the chasers, you have those who have reserve, because
Reserve.
See?
Pull my door.
See?
It's like,
See,
better
so you
girl.
have reserve.
Come on.
But at the same time, because most men, I mean, we love sex. Don't get me wrong, we do. But also at the same time, I would say, depending on the man, some of my partners I know, their reserve is way better than them chasing. And it's because they have a relationship and a rapport, which makes it a little bit better, more comfortable, to where the sex is a whole lot better because there's a lot more exploration, because there's a whole lot more trust there between parties.
I agree.
I have a question about the reserves.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
does it make it more exciting, more interesting, a better experience that they are reserved versus an everyday occurrence?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So you get to walk away from it, have a different experience, cleanse your palate, if you will, and then come back to one of those reserve options.
Now it depends.
What's the answer?
No, I mean, if it was me, I would much rather have an everyday because the relationship's better and it builds better. But I mean, at this point of being single, yeah, you would want reserves.
But does a man get bored with
Yes.
one woman? I mean, even if you're in love with that woman, even if she's the most beautiful woman you ever laid eyes on.
Well, I
Do you
mean,
get
for
bored?
him, he said yes. I mean, but it depends on the level of
Yes.
evolution. It depends. I guess it depends on the evolution of the relationship between the two people. Because you have some people who meet and they do have a certain point where they're okay,
Yes.
and that's where the boredom comes in, or the or the disconnect, and the sex isn't that good. But then you have those people who actually, like he said, 75%. If he gets 75%, he's not going to be bored because he's going to be able to be that intimately open with that woman to where they can share a level of not just freedom but trust, and he'll be satisfied. That'll be that person that he come home to every day, and they'll talk about everything under the sun, and the sex will be off the chain because they've been able to explore those options, and he's been able to be free with her with what he wants,
I know
and
this
she's
to be
free,
true.
and she's free with him on what she wants. So
Yes.
You want to explore my yes?
I do want to explore your yes.
All right. So, Judy, do you need something you want to add?
No.
Okay. Okay. So my yes is based on this. As a man, can we go primal just for a second?
Yes.
Okay. So, primally speaking, it's all about survival, right? So if we go all the way, if we remove all the illusions of security, house, the yard, the garden, the grocery store, money, it goes down to who's strong enough to sustain life. Can we hold off the horde from coming in and killing us? If the Mongolians come in, what men come back every time? They're going to be the most valuable.
Who's fighting our wars?
Who's fighting our wars, right? So the primal side of things would be almost monkey-esque, which is no one would know who the father was, right? So I'm not saying that that's what we should do. We're civilized, but when you go into the essence of what a man is, the reason why it seems like a man wants to cheat after sex is because the 150 sperm, let's go back to that, the deed is done. It's not that you're rejecting the person. It's like, who else can I branch off my seed, my DNA to?
Yeah.
I'm trying to duplicate myself as many times. I'm trying to survive, but I'm also trying to create a sense of being an immortal. And the only way I can do that is with children. I can impregnate a whole room full of people, and there can only be one pregnancy in each one. So primally speaking, the essence of the value of a man, if you're going from primal, would be how many kids can I produce? Just like a lion would in a pride. So now extrapolate civilization in that. Now all of that primal, and boredom is a horrible adjective. And I said yes because I had to. That was the only adjective that was presented. But I had to say yes because boredom is is lack of a better word, a replacement for the not even desire, but I'll just go back to discipline. You have to have the discipline to make that vow. You're making that sacrifice. Hey, I want to impregnate everybody in here. But my vow is to you. A vow to do something that you can already do wouldn't even need to be a vow, right? I'm going to spend the rest of my life, and I'm going to give you the responsibility of these 150 million desires, and I'm just going to put it all on you. So, and I'm just going to make this statement real quick. That's why it's almost sadistic to withhold sex from your partner if that partner is a man, because he gave you all of that responsibility, and let's get
I
into
think
it.
there's a bridge that's emerging here because I know that there are some women who have the capacity to contain all 150 million of your sperm, and there are some women who may not have that capacity.
Well, all women do. It's just a question if they want to.
They may not because of trauma, because of whatever emotional things that are clogging up the space. But some women have the space and the bandwidth for it. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Those are the women that you would make the vow to.
Right. So you could have a vow with one woman
For
if
sure.
she can contain all of what you need to release.
Agreed. I'll give you that.
Right, and when that need is met, comes peace, and it comes a synergy of, I don't need to hear every one of your words. You got 10,000, I got 1,000, but I'm gonna listen to you because I love you and I respect you, and you're gonna be bored with me talking about engines and whatever it is that I want to do. Masculinity and femininity are yin and yang a lot of times. It's not the same thing. So you are going into the essence of not just a synergy, but a collaboration with your person, right? Out of respect. And that doesn't mean that you don't have those urges. You just have the discipline and the intelligence to be like, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying that you should go out and find a woman like Kevin Sanders, as one woman's coming downstairs, the other woman's walking upstairs giving her high five. And I'm not saying that. That's ridiculous. But what I am saying is be aware of that and be fair in knowing that.
Yes. I was going to ask you, Omar, about when you're digging into the consciousness of a woman that you're interested in, how do you kind of get a mindset of what her trauma level is and what you might have to walk with her through or help her fix scars or whatever the thing is down the line?
Are we starting in conversation relationship, or are we in a relationship?
I don't know. When do you start to discern those traumas, even to decide?
When I see him. If I see him in conversation, just initial conversation, then I may probe just a bit to kind of figure out where some things come from. In relationship, you can tell when a person has abandonment issues or that they have insecurities because of the way that they try to hold on to you. Like if they got to know where you are every 5 minutes, then you know that's insecurity.
Yeah.
If you leave, you're like, I really like you right here with me. That's kind of abandonment issue. So those are things that you can work on, but you would really have to be able to do your homework and understand what it is. Like what particular trauma you had in your life that attached you to that thought process where you have to be with somebody or you're insecure because another person spoke to this person, or these are things that you have to just really look at and really dive into. Now, the other thing is with men, we have low patience for nonsense. Like we love common sense. It's like if it don't make sense, we don't even be bothered with it. So this is where we have to balance that masculine and feminine energy. That's where we have to begin to understand, okay, I gotta have a little compassion, I gotta have a little understanding. But we can only exert so much of that because we need you to understand, like, hey, I done showed you. If this ain't good enough, I got to go. and that's why we have those issues. But
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, for me, when I'm digging into the issues, I want to just really discover who that woman is and why she's struggling with that.
Do you feel like that's some of the challenges that you come across when you are dating now in the dating pool?
I think that's challenges all men come across, not just from their childhood, but also from past relationships. Because a lot of women carry a lot of weight from past relationships because they don't know how to release it. They go out and have them girls trips and bump them girls. They have their little parties.
Right.
But have you really taken a year off?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not really how should I say religious type dude. But Juanita Bynum was at a conference and she said something that was very profound. She said the level of sin that you're in is the same level of sin or deeper you got to get out. In other words, for me, that would be, or translate for me, like whatever level of time you were in something with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the maturity level and how you're able to come out, you might need that time or more time to remove that
Yeah,
thought
that's
process
so
or that issue.
Very real.
So would you argue that a lot of women that have these sorts of traumas, is that something you need to delve into or something you need to observe and avoid?
Observe and avoid.
Mhm.
Because you don't want to be drawn into something that can entangle you in something that's like yours. Because the more
Yes.
when a man loves a woman, let's put it this way, we give differently, we love differently and deeply than a
Yes,
woman
you
does.
do.
Because we give all of ourselves to
Mhm.
that point. And if
Yeah.
we're giving that much energy to something and
We're
we haven't
investing.
counted up the cost, that's an investment. And that investment can not just cost us mentally, but emotionally and financially.
Right.
Because sometimes a person may need to be, what's the word I'm looking for? A person may need to have a real counselor, and we're trying to spend money to give them experiences to make them forget the experiences that they're struggling with.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So, for me, when I'm dealing with someone who is gaslighting and things like that, it's hard for me to even take it serious. Right.
Agreed.
So for me, I will immediately I'm not gonna say immediately bounce out, but
It's a process.
it is. But I like how you're extrapolating how to avoid you in the beginning, because your goal is not the sex not being first. You're taking something off the table that doesn't give them a pot of gold. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have a pot of gold that is the main focus, all that's left is what's here, right? What's in your mind and what's on your mind and what's in your heart. So if we start talking about that fresh out of the gate and you're not bored, we're going to get to the essence of who I am and the essence of who you are. And a man's only going to go so far with the vulnerability based on what you're doing authentically. So the authenticity showing up in her is going to give you the comfort to go even further, and you'll delve into all the things you're talking about. But when you get in a relationship, or not even a relationship, but any sort of conversation or building some sort of congruency that something may happen, and it's with someone real, what happens is that organic growth gives you all the information you need. You don't even need 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. You can see the expiration date or the potential fresh out of the gate. And the maturity that you have to do that comes from a place of where you are. You know, like you don't put the sex on the table. So for me, I think my maturity level needs to go up, because from my perspective, it's not realistic to find someone in this modern plight. The modern woman is more common, and the women that we're speaking on is more the anomaly. So I go into this whole game as a cynic. So I don't expect anything but the sexual tension and build up, and either it does or it doesn't. So I need to, as far as manifestation, I need to come out of that because I'm 50. So to expect to be single for the rest of my life and just be the kind of person that's just like, when it's time I will, and when it's not, I'll have a conversation with my awesome female friend, or I will have an encounter with another man and have men counsel. Like when I have a conversation with other men, it's either a guy like my friend I was talking about earlier that makes me laugh and all that, and we kind of sort of have conversations like this. And I have friends that are like you, that we can just go back and forth. We're just ping pong, just our intellect back and forth, and that's necessary. But when you can find a woman like that, that's wife, and that just doesn't happen for me.
I have a great question that's kind of like the evolution of this line of thought.
Mm-hmm.
What type of situation or woman helps you be the highest version of yourself? Like, what is she like? I want to know all about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
The woman that would probably make me the highest version of myself would be the woman that could actually unlock my mind. She would have to be able to unlock my mind, not just in the initial, but you have to be able to keep unlocking. Because men like me and him, we continuously get information. We continuously learn and evolve, which means every day you're dealing with a different man. So if you can unlock a different piece of me every day, or find a way just to figure out, hey, okay, this is my dude. Let me get into my dude. That makes me the best me, because it makes me realize this person's in it for the long haul. They really in it to win it. Now, I'm pretty sure he comes across type of women I come across, they're kind of like superficial. And when I say superficial, it's like, okay, well, here's the deal.
Okay.
High heels on my titties.
Both of you all are very attractive men, very intelligent, very much in tune with yourself, with your feelings, very disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
And we know the ratio of women to men.
But here's the problem.
So what's
The problem is this.
Okay.
Most women look at us and don't know what to do with us.
Right.
And when I say that, it's because you have the money, y'all have the education, you have the book sense, but the emotional sense and the emotional trauma and some of the things that you guys experience with past dudes, you project that or expect that with us.
100%.
And when you project something or expect something of me that I've not even dealt with you on or even experienced with you, you make it harder for me to deal with you, because you already got 1 wall, 2 walls, 3 walls. And now you want me to break through walls that I shouldn't have to break through, because you want me to come in open while you're coming in guns blazing. And it shouldn't be like that. So we're dealing with our growth, and you guys are dealing with protection to the point where, man, he look good, and just because he look good, he might be like, oh boy.
That's a daddy issue, though.
It is a daddy issue, but it also is an ex-boyfriend issue. It also is, past relationship issue. And these are things that some women don't work through before they come into the relationship. And see, guys like us, we'll come into the relationship, we'll come into a situation, we'll talk to a woman. I'm probably going to gauge, he can tell within a good 45-minute conversation where to take a chick. If we can go 6 months, if we can go 6 years, what type of woman is she? Is she a person I can be friends with, or somebody that I'm going to bed with?
Yeah, dealing with another man's consequence is one of the most annoying things that you could possibly deal with. When you're dealing with a modern woman, the thing that you're trying to combat is boredom. If you allow this person to be bored, you've allowed that person this, and I'm talking from a female perspective. If you've allowed her to be bored, she's going to feel like she needs to leave. So I'd like to speak on boredom just for a second.
Okay.
Boredom would be something that is going to replace a man that is moving forward. And if a woman's in the position where she's assisting and multiplying what this man is bringing to the table, sex, kid, house, home, when she's multiplying and you are constantly evolving, there's no boredom.
No.
And the nature of a man should be, if you're in your masculine, should be to constantly progress. Even on your deathbed, if I live one more second, what one more thought of excellence can I think of, right? Like that is the man that I strive to be, and I could tell just two words. That's why I started pushing his buttons when I first came in. Just like this, you got to believe this. I was like, this is my kind of nigga, bro. And I was like, Omar, hell yeah. I was hoping this was gonna be the case. So when I'm in trouble. So basically, what a man should be striving to do is just be a man and keep moving forward. And a woman in her feminine should keep trying to multiply. And if that's the case, everything else is organic. What else can another woman do for me? Nothing.
Multiply the peace, not the problems.
Exactly. And if you're multiplying what I'm trying to create, that's going to bring me more and more into my peace, and you're going to get more vulnerability, not because you're asking me, but because you deserve it, because I'm compelled to do it. Hey, babe, guess what happened today? Not, what a good it's gonna go for 2 minutes. What do you need, honey? You know what I mean? Like, no, it'd be like, oh, I'll be right there. Yeah. Girl, you ain't gonna believe it. You know, that is what your partner should be, not the latter.
Constant elevation causes expansion. That's all I can say. In that one.
And we are actually coming to the end. It's time for us to wrap it up. Great conversation. Ladies, I hope you listen. I know I sure did. I learned a lot too. And I think now they might need to hear, maybe we need to do a part 2 now that we've been able to listen.
Y'all get to turn the tables on us.
Yeah.
How exciting
That's
is
right.
that?
So now it's time for the men, for Colin and for Omar, to learn from Tiffany and Tanya and about our non-negotiables and dealbreakers and all of that. So and desires, all of that, and then some. So catch part 2.
All right, see y'all soon.